If you're struggling early on with your finances in Anno 1800 and not really being able to expand your empire due to financial restrictions, let's hop in and take a look at a few things you can do to ease that problem. The first thing I want you to take a look at is selling your goods to the NPCs. This is a good way to make bulk amounts of cash early on. Once you've found the NPC islands and you click on them, as you progress through the game, they will have things they will offer you. These are things you can buy from them, but crucially, they will have requests, things you can sell to them for a profit. If you take a look at Eli Bleakworth, you'll see that he will take potatoes at 32 coins per potato. This is a nice and easy thing for you to do early on. Chuck down some potato farms and sell him some potatoes. But I'm more interested in soap. For each bar of soap, for each ton of soap we bring him, he will give us 384 coins, which can be a lot early on. Knowing that he does this, if we check out our production chain for the island of Cloverdale and come down to soap, you will see I'm producing 3 tons per minute more soap than I need. The idea behind this is I'm going to take that surplus and sell it to Eli. If I load up my flagship here with the surplus soap, I'm going to leave 9 on the island for the workers to use to, I'm assuming, bathe themselves, and take this boat over to Eli's harbor. We should be able to sell it to him. There we go. We are arriving in the harbor, so let's check this out. He'll take an unlimited amount, so let's just go to our unlimited button, click all 50. He's going to give us 19,200 coins. That's like 1/5 of our current balance, so even if our kind of minute by minute increase is only 268 coins at the moment, getting bulk amounts of 19,000 can be very helpful. So we're just going to trade this to him. Our balance went up. Really no extra thing we needed to do. We just kind of found a production that someone wanted and we sold it to them. Now, one of the best ways you can make money in Anno 1800 is actually by clicking the subscribe button. That way, when I post more Anno 1800 videos that'll help you out in your games, you'll get them on your feed on the YouTube front page. In the new world, you're able to sell weapons to Isabel Sarmento for 912 coins per weapon, which is another little kind of trade here you can do to make some money. And if you're friendly enough with the other AI on the map and have the trade rights diplomacy thing figured out, they will also have requests. You're able to bring 50 sausages here, which will give you 100 per sausage. This can be a good way to get rid of small amounts of extra things that you have at a premium price. The next thing you can do is actually set these up on automated trade routes so you don't have to do this manually every time. You see here, I have a trade route set up to sell my extra soap to Eli. How this works is coming into your harbor area and clicking on the item you want to sell, and you want to set a minimum amount. I've set my minimum stock here for 25, but you can do 30, you can do 10, you can enter any number in here, and it won't allow your harbor to go below this amount. With this trade route set up, the boat is going to come to Cloverdale and load up to 100 tons of soap. If I have 30 tons of soap, it's only going to load 5 because it's always going to leave at least 25 in my city. So this is a good way to make sure you don't run out of soap on your island, but you're also taking any excess you don't need and selling it right away. And this now happens entirely passively, so I don't need to bring my soap to Eli manually every time. Now that's a good way to generate kind of large bulk amounts of money early on that can be very helpful. Let's talk about the other things you can do with the items in your harbor to make a little bit of a difference. You can see here we have 112 fish, 74 work clothes. We have a surplus of some goods here that we don't really need. So let's click on these goods and do something with them. If you don't want to faff about putting them in a boat, taking them to someone to sell, etc., you can passively sell them just at your harbor, and the AIs who want them might come to you. I have a surplus of fish. Let's say I want to sell. Let's click the sell button and see what happens. I can say, okay, I have 113 fish, but I always want to make sure we have 50 here. I always like to double lock it, like do the minimum stock and this. I always like to do both. But in any case, now when an AI comes to the harbor, the AIs are going to visit. They're going to bring the boats in. The NPCs are going to do that as well. They're going to check to see what we're selling, and they might want fish, and so they might buy up to this amount of fish, whatever the surplus is, completely passively. Not a thing we have to do other than just set it into sell mode. Coming through and doing that with every good. Let's just set all of these to 50. I want 50 work clothes and then sell when above 50. So it's going to take that 22, and if someone comes along and wants any amount of that 22, it's just going to sell it to them nice and passively. Archibald Blake is making a trade. Is it for the fish and the work clothes that we had put up for sale? Let's take a look. There it is, 1,520 gold for 50 fish and 40 work clothes or whatever that was. But you can see just by setting that up right there, I've already made 1,500 gold just while recording this video. Now that's great, but selling all of these items that you have produced is only going to give you bulk amounts of money. It's still helpful overall, but most people want to make sure they have a healthy, positive balance as well, so they can continue building up their empire. So how do we make this number go up and stay there? Generating income from your houses, from your citizens, is fairly simple conceptually. You're going to come into their needs and their happiness, and you're going to see things that give you coins. If we provide a farming house with schnapps, they'll give us 3 coins. If we provide them with work clothes, they'll give us 3 coins as well. Same with the workers, except for the numbers are a little bit higher now. If we provide them with beer, for instance, they'll give us 12 coins. So coming through and seeing which of these bread is going to give us 5 coins per house, seeing which of these will give you coins is very, very helpful for generating this balance. It also helps you look for opportunities. You can see here, if I build a variety theater, I will be getting 7 coins per artisan household. I have, let's say, 20 artisan households, and so that'll be, what, 140 coins if I've done my math correctly? And so you can see here, just by looking at these things, rum is another one. Getting to the New World, creating rum is going to give us a lot of coins from our artisan household. Practically, though, the main thing you want to do early on is make sure you're not producing more than you need, or at least if you are, making sure you're upgrading your houses to fit that production. Every production building costs maintenance. If you are running a brewery, it's costing you 200 coins per minute. If you are running a soap factory, it's costing you 50 coins per minute. So you want to make sure what you're making isn't just sitting around and not generating an income. We've talked about selling it already. If you're making a surplus and you're selling that surplus, you're making that money back. If you look here though and see that you have extra room in your production chains, it might be helpful to upgrade the citizens of that tier to fill that. You can see for the workers, they need sausages, they need bread, they need soap, and they need beer. These are all things we are making more of than we need, right? So there's a good opportunity here to upgrade some workers to fill in this production. Right now we're making all this bread and spending all that money on these bakeries, but we're not getting the most out of it because we're not using all of that bread. I only have 80 farmers to play with in this example, but if I come in here and upgrade these farmers, I'll do a one here as well, I am now generating more income. These workers are going to give me more income because they're going to want beer for 12 coins and schnapps is going to be 7 coins. You see what I mean here? By upgrading to the workers, I have now filled out these production chains a little bit more, right? They're consuming a little more beer, a little more bread, a little more sausages, but I'm generating more income for this production. I've not had to build more breweries or build more soap factories or build more bakeries. I'm simply just making more money by using this existing production and filling out the population tiers within it. You can see now that just by upgrading those 7 houses and having those needs kind of fill in, they're not even fully filled in yet, I've already added maybe 200 coins to my balance here. So very simple, just for 7 house upgrades, by going through, seeing what I'm overproducing and finding something to do with it, whether it's selling it, which I'm doing with the soap for instance, or whether it's upgrading population into it, which I just did with the farmers to workers. Now it's all a big balancing act because now I have to find a way to get more work clothes for those workers, etc., etc. But these production chains are designed to be profitable or else you'd never make money in this game. You know what I mean? And so as you're upgrading workers and farmers and you're building more production chains, as long as you are kind of building up what you need for your population or upgrading your population into what you're producing, you will always come out with a fairly healthy profit. Items can be another reasonable way, not so much early on, maybe more in the mid game when you start getting some better items in here, but something like this, even the pastry chef here, right? The maintenance cost of bakeries goes down by 50%. So let's just see that in practice. You can also find town hall items that just give you more income for your residents, but just generally speaking, looking for items that will save you money or generate income can be great. All right, I've bought my homie here. Let's take him to Cloverdale and see what we can get him to do. So we are running 4 bakeries here, and each of them is costing us 60 gold per minute. They're not costing us a ton, but just to use the example, let's get a trade union down there. Oh, we already have one. Hell yeah, we're already affecting these bakeries. Hell yeah, with a cast iron stove. In any case, we're making 444 gold per minute right now. Let's add our pastry chef, which makes these 50% cheaper on a maintenance cost. And boom, we've added 100 gold to the balance by kind of finding an item we thought would save us some money, applying it to the correct location, etc., etc. Now, that's not going to be the best way to generate income early on in this game. However, it's one of the ways you could do it. Finding items to go in your town halls to affect your residents, also another great way to generate income. I'm interested in that variety theater now. It's going to cost us 100, but we'll generate a lot of income from these artists. So let's see what happens. We're putting the variety theater, and hell yeah, there we go. Now we're generating our balance. So again, good way to generate a balance. Go through your population, give them the things they need that make money. If you are meeting all of the happiness needs of your tiers of population, and you have some wiggle room with how happy your population is, kind of manipulating the production chains is another good way to save a little bit of money. Let's say you have these breweries, right? And they're really expensive. They cost 200 coins per minute, and you want to make more beer, but you don't want to spend the money on the breweries. Well, I can come into my breweries and I can kind of increase the production here. It costs the happiness of the workers, right? So we got to make sure we're keeping them relatively happy. But I can increase the brewery production by 50% for 5 happiness. If I do that, I am now gaining the equivalent of 2 free breweries, 400 gold per minute of production without actually putting anything else down. I'm just spending happiness instead of spending coins. Now, everything else in the production chain will have to be done to accommodate that. You'll have to come to the malt house and kind of increase that by 50%, but that only costs an additional 1 happiness, so that's nice and easy. And then you're going to have to put down more wheat farms, etc., etc., but that's way cheaper than building the whole production chain if you're only building the farm aspect of it and you're kind of manipulating the production of the more expensive bits. So coming through and kind of manipulating the production as needed can be helpful. You can do the same thing with soap. Like, let's say you want to sell more soap to Eli to make more money. Just come in here. You don't want to put down more soap factories, no problem. Just increase the production of the soap factories, the pigs and everything else, and you can now kind of make more soap, sell that soap without actually spending more money, as long as you have the happiness to play with. The newspaper can be another reasonable way to earn money at any point in a game of Anno 1800. It's not my favorite as it's not permanent, but if you're in a pinch and you have some influence to spare, coming in here and editing the newspaper and adding this income percentage, 25 influence for this one, but you can unlock more as you go along. If we put that here instead of this plus 5 happiness, we will gain plus 5% income for the duration of this newspaper. So let's publish that, and there we go. Our plus 5% income has hit the balance for the duration of that newspaper. And finally, I want to talk about the Docklands. Now, this is an early game save on purpose for this video, so the Docklands is not set up at all. However, I want to show you how you can use the Docklands to make a little bit of money. I prefer to bring things in with the Docklands that either take up a lot of space or I'm just going to need a lot of, like, coal and iron. But occasionally, especially when you have a lot of export contracts and can do like 20 exchanges at one time on multiple islands, you'll be able to set some up for a little bit of income. The first one is obvious, just trade for things that you can sell for money. We know that in the New World, we can sell these weapons for 900 gold apiece. So we'll come in here. Let's see if we can get some extra weapons. We know we're making a little bit of extra beer. Like, let's say every time this guy comes around, we want to give him 10 beer. He's going to give us 11 cannons. We can sell each of those for 900 gold. That's an awesome use of this 10 extra beer we're generating to sell 11 cannons. You can do the same with soap as well. There we go. 10 extra beer will give you 25 soap if you wanted to do that and sell it to Eli. As you go through the Docklands as well, you can just replace entire production chains. Building beer in those breweries are expensive. Just import some beer, and then you don't got to pay for it. Again, using the Docklands strictly for money, I don't think is the best way to use the Docklands. But when you have a lot of export contracts, you can take one, maybe 2 of them, and just export something you have a lot of, or you're making a lot of, for something you can sell for gold. I think that's it for now, though. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, this video is not going to get you to the point where you're making like $10 million in the early game, but I hope it gave you a better understanding of finances and some ways to improve those finances in the early game of Anno 1800, especially if you are a newer player. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button, the subscribe button. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your next game of Anno 1800, and I will see you in the next one.